There we go. Hello everyone, my name is Brenda Finley. I am the Jackson County Agriculture in the Classroom Coordinator, and I am also the co-owner of Finley Feather Farm. So this video is going to be pretty much all about soil and what we have to offer through Ag in the Classroom. At the end, I will have a informational video of two educators who were willing to kind of explain how you judge soil when you go to like a contest, and this is primarily through like FFA. And so the two teachers were from section 24 and were willing to kind of explain that with like the judging cards and everything, and that will be attached at the end of the video. So right now I have our soil ag mag, and it just discusses what actually is soil, and then it also kind of just explains why it's important as well. There's also 3 lessons just within this ag mag itself, so you don't have to really go and find those lessons. If you don't have the time, you could just grab the ag mag and put it together, but it's also a great idea to grab just like a lesson plan like this one or something like that. So I'll start out, it talks about why it's important, and then it talks about pretty much what it's made of, you know, just like silt, sand, and clay, and then it talks about the different parts where you have air, water, and then you have the mineral matter, and that will play in with its own, this part right here, just the sensational part, and that it will play in with a lesson plan. And then it talks about how it has the 3 main layers: topsoil, sublayer, and the parent material. So on the inside here, it's a little hard to see, but it does discuss like the nutrients that help plants grow that must be like within the soil. Down at the bottom, it has some historical quotes about soil, and then in the middle we have soil SAMI, and I'll discuss that with a second, but we have how is soil formed. So this right here is an activity you could do with your students to kind of just explain how it's formed, and you can also kind of feel what the soil would, you know, the texture and so forth. But soil SAMI, so you could just use this right here and you can pull it off that, or you can go on to the Illinois Ag in the Classroom website or the Beyond the Barn Door blog, and you could find soil SAMI, the full just lesson plan just written out. It has the Illinois standards, you got objectives up here, and then you have the grade level is K through 6, and then you also have just like the assessment framework, some readings that would be nice to go with it if you have access to those. And then it has what you'll need, and these are the activities, and then you have lesson extender. So these kind of just, sometimes those can be questions or further activities that you could do, and then just stuff you can discuss. And then at the bottom it just has just a little kind of just like a fact about farmers when it comes to soil. And so that is soil SAM or SAMI, and I've done that before. If you follow our Facebook, you'll see a little photo of our soil SAMI, and it's just where you put seeds and soil within a just pantyhose, and then you wrap it up and you tie it at the bottom to make a ball, and then you dip the end of the stocking into a cup of water, and at the top, the ball just sits at the top of the cup, and it will just grow hair, which is grass. And then you can also attach like eyes, and you can attach a mouth and dress them up. But it's a cute activity, and it's super easy to do. But we also have soil conservation techniques. It talks about just no-till, strip-till, contour farming, cover crops, and so forth right here in this big section right here. And then you have your vocabulary terms, so erosion, tillage, conservation, field residue, soil fertility, and organic matter. And then on the back side we have our career corner as always, and there's another lesson right here. So this is our 3rd one. This is a slice of soil, and you can also find that within be on the barn door, or it should also be on the Illinois Ag in the classroom site. You just go to teacher resources and then just interest approaches, make and take notes kind of thing. And then you go down and you can find that there. But this has to do if you just use an apple and then you cut it up to really show you're using math in this situation, but you're going to use how much of like the apple represents how much soil we really have. So at the end, it's not much at all. And that's kind of just to show the students what we're working with. And then it also at the bottom, it just has your standards as well for the soil ag mag. And so that's the soil ag mag, and that's soil SAM. And like I mentioned before, we have the sensational soil that was on the front of this ag mag and the soil parts. That can get tied in with this is just a small little thing that Jackson County offers. And it's pretty much just summing up that main portion I just discussed. So it's just copied over onto this one fact sheet if you want to use that for this lesson, kind of just as a little bit of a guide. But this is what is soil. So this is for grades 4th through 8th. And it just, it has student objectives, the materials you'll use for these activities, and then background information, the vocabulary. So you're going to be working with terms of what's clay, what's organic matter, sand, silt, soil texture. And then you're going to talk about the layers of soil and the textures. And then at the back right here, it will have your activity and what you'll be doing. And so you're just going to be working with on how to like identify those textures and the difference between silt, sand, and clay. And then here is just like the soil parts of soil. And like I mentioned earlier, you have the water, you have air, mineral matter, and then at the bottom you have organic matter. And so you're just going to show them what makes up soil in the sense. And so you have all 4 of those components mixed together, and that helps you make soil. And then you have another couple activities in here as well. If you're interested in something like this and having your students learn about soil, just reach out to me and I can send you this whole packet. But you can also probably find this on Illinois Ag in the Classroom website. Don't forget your National Ag in the Classroom website, where you can just create an account and you can save certain lessons to your account to make like a trapper or binder. And you can go back to that when you log in, and it has your standards, your objectives, what you'll need for the activity, what you're going to be doing, and so forth, what the students will be learning, something that's super easy. You just pull it and you teach it kind of deal. And so if you ever need any resources, just let me know. If you need any supplies either, I can get that for you. Or if you're just interested in a presentation, I can come in and do a presentation on that or any other topic in general, but just let me know. So it also has the extension activities and additional resources right here. And then we have our standards in the back. And then when you flip it over, here are some worksheets. Just a data table for the students to use. And then on the back, that's for them to work out some answers on. And this kind of just ties into the sand, silt, and clay. And then this is our answer keys for those. And then another activity, there's a data sheet that the students could use as well, and that activities within this same packet. And then if you're not familiar with the magic kits, there's the soil magic kits, and this will be in that as well. It might be an updated version for it, but if you ever need to pick up one, we'll have this with that as well. But there's the sensational soil like we discussed earlier. So if you don't want to have, for whatever reason, if you don't have like the Ag Mag, then you can just pull from this as well. And then on the back side, there's just some charts and soil properties, and that's pretty much it for this packet. There's several more activities online, as I mentioned already, but those were just a few that we just have ready in the office for you guys, already printed out. And I'm going to add in at the back of this video, or at the end of the video, our video from the Section 24 Soil Judging Contest, FFA Soil Judging Contest, and it was 24 and 25. So I'm going to go ahead and tie that in. It's, like I mentioned earlier, discussing how to use the judging cards, how to judge soil, but where you're going to enter your information and how to pretty much use those worksheets. And let me see if there's anything. Okay, so for the most part, that will be geared towards high school students, but if you want to go ahead and let your students see what it's like, you can use a video for elementary kids. I'm not sure how much information pertains to them, but junior high, they could probably also use that, especially in the 8th grade. But I'll go ahead and add that in. So the instructors within this video is Mr. Robinson from Goreville, and then we have Mr. Evans from Harrisburg. And I'm going to ahead and let that play now. Thanks, guys.
Okay, if you look on our soils card that we have, we usually lead off with plow layer. So you can tell the difference in the plow layer. If you start from the top, you want to look at a distinct color change. So if you can see that this one is pretty much right at 12. With that, on our soils card, we would count that as a more than 9. I think that's how it constitutes. There's 4 examples. There's more than 9, 3 to 9, 0 to 3, 0 to 3, and then an 8 to 20, which would be deposition.
You can also, sometimes you get to a pit that you don't get the right, see a distinct color change. You can also use your texture and like a screwdriver, pocket knife, some type of sharp object to hook in there. A lot of times your subsoil will have a denser texture than your tile layer. You find the difference between those two. You can't find a distinct color. This one's very good at finding a different color.
After that, primarily what I'll do is I'll come down and we'll look at the subsoil. And I will tell my kids to look to find 24. And to either put a screwdriver or not there, because we will start looking at color. We start looking for gray modeling. Gray modeling being, if you look at these gray splotches that we have, that is a kind of a clear indication of whether or not it's modeling, and that's pretty much water, how much water flows through the profile and gets into leaching. Correct. As it leaches through, it kind of pulls the color out. Now I have heard sometimes modeling, if you look at this, it could be self-capping as well. I'm not sure I know what the difference between modeling and self-capping is, but I tell mine to look at 24, and if they see this gray color in the profile above 24, then it's gray modeling, or it's brown, gray brown model. And then if it's below, it's brown, yellow, brown, gray modeling below 24 inches.
And the other one would be your better soil, which is going to drain a lot better, would be solid brown. It would have the gray in it. If you add the gray modeling and gray soil to it, it's going to not let water and air down through to the roots. It's going to hold water better. So the brown soil would be the other option, and the worst option would be to put it all gray. And sometimes your all gray soil will have some brown mixed in it, but it would be mostly gray throughout.
There's an A2 horizon which is present. A lot of them is common during mostly just for soil, but it pretty much has to boil down to where it needs to be tilled out to as well, because you can till it out. An A2 horizon will be present during my career, 25 years, and I've seen 4. So, but you can see the ones that I've seen, they're a very distinct gray line that runs right underneath the plow. But very common amongst 4 soils, but it's very big tell and probably not existing anymore.
And our soils here, this pit, lot of soils we've been in southern Illinois, we don't get to a substratum down there. The other horizons, so we usually mark it on our cards as not present.
And if the profile has structure all the way down, then there's not a substratum. So it has to be structure present. There has to be zero structure in order for there to be a substratum. But we'll talk about very good bodies. If you look as this comes out, if it comes out, if it's got structure, it will come out in a block, or it can come out as, if you look at that one, that was prismatic. It's more of a column type. Majority of the time, at least very common in ours, the flat layers usually granular. And then,
And the other thing that we look at on the flat layer and the subsoil is the texture of the soil. And, you're going to need to know that to help determine your surface runout and the permeability of your soil. So I've got some flat layer here. And today it's very moist. It lets dry out. You'll have to add water to this, but you usually make a ball out of that soil, and then you can squeeze it between your finger and your thumb. And if it breaks off less than 3/4 of an inch, like this is, it'll be moderately fine. And then you get your subsoil and do the same thing. This subsoil sticks together very well. There's a lot of clay in it. It has enough moisture, and it will form a ribbon. It doesn't want to break, it just keeps making ribbon as you go, and so that would be fine textured soil, and it just keeps sticking together all the way through like that. Pretty much got the front of the soil covered.
what was usually the most important part? You want to make sure that you stand the exact same places that the judge stood. So with that being said, we got clear directions that you stand with toes on the line. You want to stand. Common mistake people will make is they'll duck their head. So you got to get an eye height. So we have to move these rods in order to get a specific slope to make sure that they're correct. But how you would get eye height is you would walk up, and in this eye level there are 3 lines, and you put the bubble in the middle of the middle line. And when you do that, and you'll shoot your eye height, and mine is 5.8. So once you determine that, you keep that, but you have to make sure that you're wearing the same shoes all the time, because your eye height can change. If not, you have to shoot another eye height. But you need to stand and are comfortable, but stand, you have to do everything correct all the time. So once you go over here, a lot of times I'll tell kids that they drop their head, which could drop their reading almost to 10. So I'm going to place the bubble in the middle of the middle line. So I shot a 6.3, my eye height is 5.8. So what I'm going to do is, there's no negative numbers. You take your eye height minus your reading, or whichever one is the bigger number. Subtract those two, take it times 4. The reason why we take it times 4 is you want a reading over 100 foot. For it to be a reading over 100 foot, these eye levels are only accurate to 25. So we take that number times 4. Mm-hmm. So my eye height, 5.8, I read 6.3, so 6.3 minus 5.8 is 0.5 times 4 is 2%. So I have a 2% slope. So once I find my 2% slope, I look at my pit 4 and I look at my slope length, which is 100. So I don't have to round, and I will connect the dots over here, and I'll get 0.20. I will now look at my Z, which is 0.06, and I will divide the Z, 0.06 divided by 0.20, and I get 0.3. you have to take it to 2 places, so it'll be 0.30. Once I get to 0.30, I'll look at my bottom chart, and so with it being 0.30, you can go equal to or less than. So I take my 0.30 and I'm looking for a number across this top line that is equal to or less than 0.30. So my first one is spring plow. It's 0.25. So I'll mark that on my card because it'll be blank. My next line, I look for anything equal to or less than 0.30, which is 0.27. So I'll mark 20%. On the next one down, it'll be 0.24, and then fall plow 0.17. If you've marked anything in this field, you're automatically going to mark no. If you were to mark something like a 0.01, 0.02, and it's not on the field, then you'll put all does not apply and yes.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.